Holy shit, man. Holy fucking shit. I'm absolutely shocked and delighted that I hit the nail so firmly on the head that I called it. Atra and Mikazuki, man. Atra is with child, or at least, I mean, we don't know if she's actually officially with child or not, but I mean, she and Mikazuki, they came clean that they gave it the old college try. Bow chicka wow wow Tekadon style, all up in this house. And, I mean, I had said when Hash was like, you know, looking at her and she's all aglow, she's smiling, she's looking longingly at Mikazuki after their discussion a couple episodes ago where it was like, do you want to make babies? And Mikazuki's just like, yeah, sure, let's try, you know. Sure, no thought about it. I mean, the way she's wearing the giant coat and everything like that, I was really starting to notice, is she starting to show already? I mean, it's probably way too early. But it just seemed interesting to me how she goes up to Cordelia when Cordelia shows up, and I have something I need to tell you, and they get cut off, and we don't find out for sure till the very end of the episode when Cordelia approaches Mikazuki and he's like, I want you to promise to take care of my kid, just in case. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back. Hopefully I will, but just in case I'm not. I mean, Mikazuki is trying to learn about growing plants and crops and things, which, mind blown, it's astounding to me how much of a change in character he has undergone. He has for the longest time, even just episodes ago when he was going up against Julieta, he's like a machine. He's like a cold-blooded killing machine. And I'm beginning to wonder how much of the influence of that has to do with his being attached to the Leia Viana system in the Barbados. I'm wondering if it cuts off the more human sort of quotient of his mind or something like that, his mentality. Because when he's not in there fighting, when he's not, you know, in the midst of a dogfight, you know, albeit with mobile suits, he's actually much more human. He's got more emotions. He's thinking about the future. He's thinking about a happy, wholesome life and trying to have a kid. And just in case, he wants Cordelia to kind of be the godmother of his child and to take care of Atra in his absence in case that happens to be a thing. And like, man, I mean, I'm astounded. I'm absolutely astounded. I'm delighted that Atra might have a kid here. Of course, Atra typically is like, if Cordelia, if you're feeling bad about the fact that me and Mikazuki hooked up, why don't you two go at it too, you know? I mean, get as many bunnies humping in the cage as we can get going here, you know. Tekadon's future, whatever that ends up being, the scraps, the remainder of Tekadon, whatever that might be by the culmination of the series, we got to have something prosperous in our future, you know. Let's have more bountiful lives being brought forth. And Cordelia, you know, go ahead, go at it with my boy. And so, I mean, it was absolutely sweet and adorable and hilarious. But then when you get everything else in the episode, it's that much more made bittersweet because you know that things are not looking good. They're the worst they can possibly be for everyone involved. I absolutely was thrown for a loop at the start of this episode, Iron-Blooded Orphans, Season 2, Episode 22, with McGillis and the guy, Rustal Elion, had, you know, I had used the analogy, it's almost like he's being led into a trap, a rabbit into a box, you know, in the woods somewhere, into a cage. And this guy actually goes against that. He's like, I owe you one, McGillis, so we don't know where you are. We don't know if you're going to Mars, where exactly you're going to land and everything like that. Go ahead. You know, everything's cool. I don't know if that guy was full of shit or not. It seemed like he was being genuine in the moment, but then everyone finds them anyway by the end of the episode, so everything's fucked anyway. Everything's a clusterfuck once again anyway. It just threw me for a loop that here is McGillis. He's been stripped of all of his standing in Gjallarhorn. Gjallarhorn is restructuring without him. And, you know, mostly represented by the Aryan Rod fleet, by Rustal and everything like that. And yet here is this guy who's going to do one last sort of favor. But is it a henpecked one? Is it, you know, fainting left when you're really going right? And it really is the trap that was set up by Rustal and everything? I don't know. Arguably, whatever the case may be, everyone's fucked by the end. And once again, we're seeing coming to the fore, Zach being a voice of reason, being like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? And here's the thing, though, man. Least would I have expected Orga to actually start to sort of mold his thinking in that direction. I got to give mad props to Orga. It's the 11th hour. It's maybe too late, but I mean, at least he got everyone in Tekkadan together, and he's like, look, any of you having reservations about where we go from here, anyone who has had reservations, anyone who doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, here is your get out of jail free card. Here is your chance to wipe your hands of it all and walk away. And we will not think any lesser of you. And of course, Zack is the main cheerleader who's voicing up his concerns. Where's Yamagi? You know? And even Eugene's kind of like, no, we got to back the boss, even though he was kind of pissed and thanking Yamagi in the previous episode for voicing his concerns. But I mean, Eugene, he kind of, you know, backpedaled, straying away from Ortega, and, you know, maybe in his best interests, following along that path. He's staying right where the hell he is. Zack is the only one saying, like, dude, we got to get out of here. We got to get away from Tekkadan. So we got, you know, go get jobs, have better lives, and not keep risking our lives and everything like that. And poor Zack, because he's like one of very few who are actually walking away after this event. He's even talking to, you know, the one guy. He's like, why don't you come with me? I mean, if you're worried about being homeless and without a job, I could talk to my dad. I can hook things up. And he's like, but what are they going to do for criminals? That's the thing you kind of forget after a while, that some of these people have criminal records. They've taken lives. They've done the worst of the worst of the worst things. And Tekkadan was like the only home left to them. So they literally have nothing else. There is nothing else for them in the future. Maybe incarceration, maybe assassination, or putting their lives on the line for this asinine cause as being led by McGillis. And so part and parcel of what Orga's trying to do, he has a heart-to-heart with McGillis, as close as you can get with this asshole. He's like, you know, look, things are now topsy-turvy from when we started. When we started, you're the cat who had the money. You're the one who had the power. Now all of that is rendered moot. Now you're going to follow us. We used to follow your orders and everything, and what you suggested, we went along with it. And McGillis is kind of like playing ignorant. He's like, but I thought when we started out, we were considering each other equals. He has not treated Tekkadan one iota like they were equals. They have been fodder to his cause from the get-go, from day one, from moment uno. And Ortega, you know, I'm again proud of him for not only finally starting to mull things over and think, even at this late stage in the game, maybe we should back off, maybe we should consider options outside the gate. You know, he's going to lay the law down with McGillis. You know what, if you're going to be relying on us, I mean, we were relying on you from the get-go. Now you're going to be relying on us. You're going to take our orders. You're going to do what we say. And of course, McGillis agrees with that at face value. I don't believe for 1 minute that he has any call to listen to Ortega and do what Tekkadan, the fledgling remainder of Tekkadan that it is. I don't think he's going to listen one iota to what they say or do what they suggest or anything like that. He's just fucking with them. He's been fucking with them from day one. He's continuing to fuck with them to his own ends. And so you have Ortega. He's having the little meeting with everybody, Eugene, everybody like that. Akihiro's there and everything. And they're talking about, what are we going to do? And after having this, air quotes, heart-to-heart with McGillis, Ortega's finally decided for himself that McGillis is just a lost cause. There's no stage in this game that you know, Tekkadan, the remnants of Tekkadan that there are, is in any way going to benefit from this continued collusion, if you will. They're being dragged down to the depths of hell by this guy, and especially with his having been cut off by Gallahorn, this guy has no power seemingly anymore. You know, other than his small group of sort of the rebel movement outsprung from Gallahorn, he's got nothing. He's got nothing but the bile, and that's it. And so Ortega's like, you know, they're all talking about it, and Ortega's listening and taking, you know, into this idea. It's kind of the seed that is implanted in his mind. What if we broke ties with McGillis? What if we sold him out? What if we go to Rustal Elion, to the Arianrod fleet, and say, look, we're going to give you McGillis. We're going to give you the bile. And all we ask is for you to let us wipe our hands clean of this, walk away, and just have the rest of our lives, whatever that may be. Go back to Mars, whatever it is. Can we do that? Ortega actually calls the old man and tries to get him to put a call through to Elion. And I almost started to have hope. I almost started to think, wow, maybe could the tide actually turn along those lines? Could this be Tekadon actually saving themselves? Could Orga actually be doing something, performing an act that will save the remnants of Tekadon? And then the other leg drops. Goddamn Elion is like, the Bile, McGillis, that's not enough anymore. All of Tekadon, all of those murderers and thieves that, you know, they've completely been made out to be the criminals, the villains of the story, even so far as to have, you know, the sisters of Biscuit, you know, all their fellow classmates are like, oh, and we used to think Biscuit was a hero, but he was a villain all along, and they're feeling, you know, Cookie and Cracker, they're feeling ousted, they're feeling like they have nowhere to turn. All of Tekadon has been made the villains of the story because of their collusion, because of their working in tandem with McGillis. McGillis has completely fucked them. And so it is no longer enough by Elion's decree to just take down McGillis, to just recapture the Bile. No, there needs to be a scapegoat. There needs to be somebody who takes the blame for everything else that happened. Who else are we going to get but Tekadon? Orga in this moment gave me goosebumps because he is pleading on the verge of tears. He is screaming and crying across this phone call, but I'm their leader. Take me, take my head, display it wherever you need to. Kill me 1,000 ways from Sunday. Leave my people be. Let them have their lives. They don't deserve this. And Alien, you know, for his part, he snaps back as that, you know, logician that he is. He's basically like, look, any organization is made up by hundreds or dozens of individuals, each one of them making the choice whether to stay or whether to go. You're all going down. And I was just like, God damn. You know, it just pisses me off. If they had only listened to Biscuit, if they had only listened to the fleeting amount of sense and sensibility that was coming out of Eugene and Yamagi, Zack is the only one who's still at this stage. You know, let's get the fuck out of Dodge. Let's break apart from Tekadon. Tekadon is between a rock and a hard place. There's no going back. And their ultimate destruction, their penultimate destruction, is the only answer to their cause any longer. Except with Cordelia. Cordelia has been instructed to break all ties with them. Otherwise, her whole, you know, end of things is not going to have any more funding. You know, they cannot be working in collusion, in tandem with a criminal syndicate, with an organization such as Tekadon, as they have been made out to be, slanderized all throughout the news networks and everything like that. Cordelia doesn't know what she wants to do. You know, we have that great heart-to-heart moment between she and Atra and Mikazuki, as I say, which was delightful. I was smiling. I was ear-to-ear grinning. It warmed my heart. But then, again, the crashing home bittersweetness of how fucked things are was not lost on me. And I was just like, oh, shit. they're gonna die. But then Cordelia comes up with the idea, which coincides with the fact that Meribit and you know, the sort of money guy of Tekadon, they realized they have some money, some savings that were holed up in a different account from the one they've been operating under. So they actually have some money. They thought they had nothing left. They have some money, maybe just enough to get back to Earth, which coincides with Cordelia's concept of, well, you're pretty much fucked on Mars. Go back to Earth. And if you go back to Earth, I can use my ties, my political organization, and everything like that, all of the records that each individual Tekadon has on record, we can wipe them. And we can give you all new identities. And it sounds good on paper. And it's you know, Orga, now knowing that they have this newfound stipend they can use to that effect, to make that happen, it sounds great. It's like, yes. Oh, no, boss. Guess what? We can't make any calls. All the outside lines have been cut. Gallahorn is here. Fuck. Goddamn. Tekadon is fucked. They're fucked. And this episode actually foolishly though it may have been, had actually given me some inspiration of hope that maybe they were going to get out. Maybe they were going to find a way out. Even if Oruga still dies, even if Mikazuki still dies, Akihiro, whatever it is, I mean, I would hate to see them go. But I thought there was some fledgling amount of hope that they could actually, some of them would survive. And now I'm not so sure. It looks like the battle has reached its tantamount conclusion, and it's just a matter of what few of these characters, if any, are going to come out alive. And I mean, it could be anything like Cordelia and Atra are the only two, maybe Meribit. You know, I love the playful ribbing between her and the main mechanic dude as well. You know, the old man or whatever they were calling him. I forget exactly what they called him, but we know that they were dating and everything like that. And she doesn't want to leave his side. She makes the jab, well, because he said, "Well, you're just about as much of a kid as everyone else." You know, you should be going to. She's like, well, yeah, but I guess that means you like kids, huh? And he's like, shut up. But yeah, I mean, the character dynamics, they're forged in steel, iron, and blood. And it's ironic that, because this is iron-blooded orphans. And they have lived together. It's just a matter of really waiting to see how many of them die together too. Holy fuck.